Hi, welcome back. Today we'll be drawing two beautiful swans resting on a lake. So the first thing we're going to do is draw a curved line for the top of the head. And that's going to come down into the beak. And then we're going to draw another curved line at the bottom. And that's going to be the head of our swan. Then for the neck, we're going to draw two long curved lines. Then for the body, we're going to come up and draw another curved line and draw a little tail and then a straight line underneath the body. Make the line as horizontal and straight as possible and use a ruler if you have to. For the second swan, we're going to do the same thing, except this swan will be looking down. We're going to draw the same head shape looking downwards, so same rounded head. And that rounded head comes into the beak. And the neck is going to come up a little bit more and be drawn with nice curved lines. Make sure the bodies end at the same point. And I'm going to make this swan's body a little bit smaller than the other swans. Use a ruler if you have to get the swans on the same level. Now I'm going to draw the face details for the swans. I'm going to draw where the beak ends and the cool face pattern the swans have, which is this black patch they have around their eyes. Before we start with the watercolors, I'm going to lighten up my sketch with an eraser so the pencil lines won't interfere with the paint. Since swans are white in color, I'm going to take some light gray watercolor paint and paint around the neck, under the face, and around the body for both swans to show some shading. I'm taking some water and blending all that gray out. Now I'm going to add some shading to my other swan. I'm now taking an even darker gray and adding another layer of shading. Make sure you're adding shading around the body just to show the depth of the swan and how round it is. Next, we're going to use the dark gray and add some lines for the feathers for our swan. Make sure they're going in a diagonal direction and aren't completely straight up. Add another layer of dark gray underneath your feathers. Use some water and blend out the gray. Make the feathers a little darker by adding some more dark gray if you would like. Now for the other swan, I'm going to do a different feather style. I'm just going to paint a curved line. And then I'm going to blend out all that paint with some water. Now, these swans are looking a little bit boring, so I'm going to spice things up and add some splashes of blue along the wings, the neck, and a little near the face. Now I'm going to go in and add a little splash of light purple. I forgot to film this part, but basically I went back with a dark gray and did some shading around the body. Now we're going to move on to the face. Using orange, I'm going to paint both of the beaks. Here I am just adding a little bit more blue to the face just to give it some more color. Now we're going to paint the little patch on the eye with some black. I'm taking a darker orange and doing some more shading for the beak. And finally, I'm adding some black just to make the beak look a little more realistic. After finishing the swans, we're going to move on to the water and painting the reflection. Using dark gray, I'm going to paint little lines underneath the swan to give the reflection a water-like effect. And now I'm taking some black paint and putting it directly underneath the swan to show that the swan is casting a shadow. Now I'm taking some water and blending out the gray towards the bottom. Now I'm going to add some blue to the reflection just to fit the color scheme. And finally, I'll be adding some purple. I'm going to paint a very faint sky, so what I'm going to do is wet the paper with some water. Then I'm going to add some blue and make it very light for a misty and faint sky. And we're done. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on how to paint beautiful swans.